That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 116 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the spooky, wacky, weird, strange, and football. And before we tell you about these longer stories that we have for you today, we got to catch you up on any of the weird news you may have missed this week. And David, you want to start this off?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I feel like you're not prepared.
I realized that the window wasn't up. Woman arrested for calling 911 about bad Chinese food.
Okay. That's fair. Because,
No.
But I think most Chinese food is like good, and even mediocre Chinese food is good, but bad Chinese food is really bad.
See, I feel like I get in this conversation a lot. I think I've only had bad Chinese food because I just don't really like Chinese food that much.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't do it for me.
But like, not even like Panda Express. I know that's like, oh, you're so white. Like, I know, but I'm just trying to connect with people all around the country. We all share.
Is Panda Express Chinese?
It's Chinese fast food American.
I know
like,
they've got a Mongolian beef.
No, they're neighbors. There's no ill will there.
Yeah, no, they love each other.
They didn't build the wall because of just that the beefcakes over in Mongolia.
Yeah, little peppers in there.
But like, wait, so you just don't like Chinese food? We had a
Not
place.
really.
We had a place that we would go to in high school called China Dragon. It closed down, but they had a buffet, and they had like crazy ass shit in there. They had these like deep fried bananas that were just covered in sugar. Not like a whole banana. They're like chopped up bananas. But still, like, I feel like there's always like one really weird thing in a Chinese food buffet.
Well, I love how they all have like the soft serve ice cream machine that's just like go to town on it.
They all have that? I've never seen that.
What?
Chinese food place.
Yeah, man, they all have it. You just didn't look hard enough. Did you go in the bathroom?
This is why you hate Chinese food, because you've been eating at Cece's Pizza. It's not even Chinese food.
Oh boy.
But she called the police on this Chinese food.
Yeah, she called 911 about bad Chinese food.
Like it was hurting her, or it was a complaint. She had nowhere to go. Like she probably called the restaurant to complain, and they weren't giving a shit. So
Yeah.
The next logical thing you do is you call the police to get involved.
Well, the good thing is here, I'm going to click on the article here at USA Today. Actually, I'm not, because we're not allowed to read anything from USA Today because they have blocked me. They won't let me read their articles. I just want to read it. Let me read your news.
David, do they want you to pay, or do they want you to turn off your ad blocker?
No. Well, to give them ads is me paying them, not out of my pocket, but out of the people's pocket, and I'm not going to pay that tax.
Okay, well, then we'll skip the story, but I just want to know, what's your favorite Chinese food if you had to eat Chinese food? I know you just said you don't like Chinese food, but
is the what's that one noodle one? Yeah, that one.
chow mein?
Yeah, it's chow mein Chinese.
You see, you're used to eating bark chow mix, extra beef and liver.
I know.
And that's not the same as chow mein, David.
Times are getting hard. Yeah, if anybody is interested, please subscribe to my OnlyFans. Could really use some money so I can stop eating dog food.
Okay, wait. I don't have a traditional news story for you, but just speaking of, when I was looking at the news stories, I saw that there was a dog food company that was using like the protein in their dog food was actually like ground up insects instead of like meat.
Hell yeah.
Which is crazy to think about because
shout out Snowpiercer.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Those little bricks that they make.
Yeah, man.
They look tasty though, little roachy bricks. But now you got me on Snowpiercer. I'm all fucked up. I don't know where I am.
I got another story about eating bugs if you want to hear it real quick.
I do want to hear that, but I was just thinking, like, meat can't be more expensive. Like, like the stuff they put in like dog food is like not
Mice?
good meat. What?
It's just mice.
Oh, I think you said lice, which is maybe both. I don't know, but like it can't be that much more than like grinding up some crickets, I guess. But I don't know. It's just very interesting to hear that. Like you're just not putting like meat, but like I mean that has to be bottom of the barrel dog food because I see a lot of like dog food that's just like pretty high end, like dark salmon and and wild rice, and
That's what my boy's on. He's on that salmon, wild rice, sweet potato, blueberries. He's got it all.
What the fuck?
I got the bag right there. You want me to pull it up?
No, you're gonna be dipping your hand in there in a second. I could tell.
I am hungry.
How many more beers you got over there before we get into the dog food?
Oh, I'm stocked. I'm ready to go.
David, get out the dog food. Get out the dog food.
Can't help it.
There's no.
It's so. The thing about dog food is, you can just throw in a Ziploc like trail mix and you're good to go.
Yeah, and no one even questions that. You eating Captain Crunch peanut butter? Be like, yeah, I'm eating Captain Crunch peanut butter.
I love the Captain.
There's no toucan Sam spoon at the bottom of that bag.
I wonder how bad do you think your breath would be if you just spent a whole week eating dog food?
The same badness as it is now, probably.
Yeah, probably. It's all rotten.
Not good. I want to hear about your bug story real quick.
Oh, well, yeah, this last summer, did like a little camping trip, floating trip with two of my buddies, and sometimes you get a good campsite and you have neighbors and you're kind of forced to interact with them.
That's the worst.
They were cool, but there was a small child and a lady. It was her child. And she started talking about like getting your kid to catch grasshoppers and breed them so they could eat them.
What?
And at first I thought it was a joke, and then the more she talked about it, the more I'm pretty sure she was serious.
Well, I know people like I've seen those
put them in candy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like not even candy, but now they have like ones that they just pop them in the oven, put some like salt and pepper, like cayenne on them, and then like people just eat them like dog food.
Yeah.
But how do you know which ones are the males and the females? How you breeding them?
You just put like 6 of them in a fucking Tupperware and you just assume.
And all of a sudden they're having like an orgy, and then you find out that there's no babies being made, and you're like, oh man, I'm just doing this for their pleasure at this point. There ain't no babies coming out.
Not again.
I don't even know how long a cricket lives for. I think a fly lives for like 28 days.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what that movie's about? 28 Days Later?
Yeah, it's about flies. It's actually a documentary about flies.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. I was so scared until I figured out it was a documentary about flies. You just gotta look.
Well, then there's 28 weeks later.
Bigger flies.
Well, no, that's about the kids in my neighborhood because I'm going to beat them all up.
David has this reoccurring, you call it a joke or a life statement that you're going to beat up.
It's a way of life.
That you're going to beat up all the kids in your neighborhood?
I just don't want any of them to, think they've got an edge on me because they're younger. I'm not going to let that fly. Halloween was interesting this year.
David gets them before they grow the big muscles. He makes sure that they stay.
Got to break a few bones so they don't grow correctly.
Yeah, they grow all weird and lumpy and stuff, and they move like. You ever see like the dude in India that like just waves his arm around like crazy, like it's not even connected to the elbow anymore?
You say that like there's one guy in India that does that.
No, there's like 45, and they all live on the same cul-de-sac. But
yeah.
You just put them all at the back of like an airplane, and then you could take off. It's a really amazing, actually. But
couple bang energies and a couple of those guys strapped to a plank of wood, and you're gonna be flying.
Those guys scare the shit out of me. But speaking of scaring the shit out of me, I'll just get over to my story. I don't have a news story, but I have a personal work story. Okay, so I just finished working at Paramount Pictures. And it's like a super old lot. I think I brought this up a couple episodes ago, how like this one building was like haunted or whatever. Well, I found out that the stage that I was working on, like one of the background people that came in, she was like talking to me, and she was like, "Oh, you know, like this stage that you're on is the most haunted stage at Paramount." And it's like a super old stage. This is where Citizen Kane was shot, so it's like super, super old. And
Yeah, that's old as shit.
and basically I was like, "Oh, really?" Like, and she's like, "Yeah, it's like notoriously known for like being haunted." And I was like, "Oh shit." And I'll get to my personal experience, but basically what ended up happening is I had to be there at 12 a.m. because something that happens on some of these shows is they have moving set pieces, and the construction and the painters have to show up really early in the morning to build the sets, and like, you know, the little fake houses and everything like that. So the painters had to show up at 12 a.m. to make sure that everything was painted by the time they started shooting at, like, you know, 10 a.m. or something like that, 8 a.m. So I had to get there to, like, basically just monitor people, make sure they're all wearing their masks and stuff like that, for COVID reasons. And when I got there, none of the painters were on stage, and I opened the door and I walked in, and it was pitch black on the stage and completely silent because they're sound stages. So they're the whole.
Oh, they're creepy how quiet they can get.
Yeah, all the walls are lined with like this padded stuff with like this metal mesh over it and stuff like that, so you don't rip it up. But there is a huge stage. It's pitch black, and I'm like, where are they? And they were like obviously somewhere else. They weren't like on stage yet. And I was standing there. I like walked kind of deeper into like the stage, and I was just standing there, and it was like so fucking quiet, and I just felt this like really, really cold wind go over me, and I just got like goosebumps all over my body. I actually just got chills thinking about it right now. And I'm not the type of guy that, like, I always go, you're crazy, you're thinking, irrational. Just like turn around and walk away like really slowly. So I turned around and I started walking really slowly, and as I got closer to the door, like my heart rate started getting faster and faster, and like my goosebumps got like stronger, and I just like kicked the door open basically and like sprinted out of the stage. And I was like, oh fuck, that was like really creepy. And then the next day, the girl's the one who told me that the stage was haunted. And then the next day, I went up to a guy who was the best boy who deals with all the lighting and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, one of the background told me that the stage was haunted. And he's like, I've been working on the stage for 10 years, and I can tell you, yeah, I think this thing is haunted. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. So he told me a couple stories. He basically told me that the little girl from Poltergeist, the one who goes, they're here.
Yeah.
She was shooting something on that stage, apparently after
Like a
Poltergeist.
small animal?
What?
She was shooting a small animal?
No, but I bet there's a bunch of dead rats in the walls of that stage. So they're probably haunting the shit out of the place.
Oh, yeah.
But she died very tragically and early due to some disease. I don't think it was cancer. I think it was something like pretty rare. She ended up dying, and the guy was saying that apparently the little girl had like a little like hangout like bed area on stage because she was like the youngest one on stage, and that she would be like, oh, I'm gonna like, this is my area, so she would go sleep on stage, and she would run all the way like up and down on this like catwalk area, and then he says like you could still hear, like, he's like, I've been the first one here and the last one out, and sometimes I'm in here and I could just hear footsteps up on like the catwalk, just like like feet hitting the wood. And then he also says that in the same area there's these light bulbs that are constantly, even on our show, he said that there's an issue that these light bulbs that they put in brand new in the same area, they always burn out every single time. He's like, I've replaced like 8 light bulbs since we started shooting, and I've checked them, and every single light bulb was okay except for like these ones in this area, and that like never happens. And I was like, oh shit, that makes sense because ghosts travel through like electromagnetic forces and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah. And then the last thing, he said that one time, like him and his buddy told him this. He's like, I was standing here, and he's like, I looked up into the rafters, and there was a dark figure standing up like in the rafters. And apparently a lighting guy had 2 people died on that stage, or she didn't die on that stage, but she died like nearby or something, the little girl. But a guy did die on that stage when he was like rigging lighting. He fell over the side and he hit the ground and he died like instantly. So there is technically death on that stage. And they just say like it's super weird, it's super creepy, and like I felt something. I'm not even like that big on like paranormal, but like I mean, I know we're doing this podcast,
what
and
the hell? I'm looking
just-
for a new co-host.
I just mean like personally. Like I don't think I've ever experienced ghosts, so I go, like when people keep telling me this, I take it with a grain of salt because I go, it could be your nerves, or it could be situational, but when you experience it yourself, you go, oh, I don't really know. So that was like one of my experiences, and it wasn't like that big, but like just the feeling of the cold, and like that could also be my nerves too. But like all these other stories these guys told me, I was like, oh shit, like it makes sense, and this place has a history. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I thought it was super interesting and super creepy. And, there's actual death on that stage. So
Yeah.
I think there might be actual spirits left behind as well.
Well, I'm going to protest this podcast for a few weeks until I can get possessed. And then I can come back and I can tell you about how I got possessed. And then I'm going to one-up you big time, bud.
Oh, you better.
Clean you out.
I want you speaking 6 different languages by the time I see you.
You're going to hear a lot of Latin, my friend.
Latin, sometimes German.
Oh, yeah, it's always the Germans.
It's always the German.
I'm half German, I can say that.
But do you have another story for it? I mean, another news article for us, David?
I've got another news article here that I've been mentally prepping to be able to read this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Been mentally prepping and preparing myself to read this 11-word sentence without pissing myself. If you're ready for this.
Okay. Oh, there he goes.
Okay, hold on. Gotta gather myself. Obese monkey, Uncle Fatty,
Okay, this is very David. The story's already
Okay, hold on.
very
Okay.
you.
Obese monkey, Uncle Fatty, missing from fat camp and Okay, one more time. Got this. I got this time.
Oh, it's not over?
No.
Okay.
It's not even close.
Okay, keep going.
Obese monkey, Uncle Fatty, missing from fat camp.
David.
Obese monkey. Obese monkey, Uncle Fatty, missing from fat camp and presumed dead.
Now, we don't know if it's because of his lifestyle choices, as in weight, not running away. That's a lifestyle choice, running away. Or if there's foul play, right, David? Do we know any more information about that? I mean, he's
my
presumed
God.
dead. We don't know he's dead.
So this monkey weighed 33 pounds, which is twice the size of any regular long-tailed maquis. I think a maquis, that's what it's called. It's like the ones you always see in like the Thailand photos.
Oh, okay.
And,
The ones that like
that's-
rip your glasses off your face.
This is the one that got fat because tourists kept feeding him, and
Let's not be. He probably was stealing shit.
well, I mean that's where it started, and then once you saw this just mound of a monkey, you couldn't help but throw food at it.
Monkey mound.
Yeah, so they put him in a fat camp in 2017, but he didn't lose weight because he kept stealing food from all the other monkeys. And then he went missing in February.
Oh no. Wait, this has been many months.
Yeah.
He's resourceful though. He's good at stealing food.
I will say the last sentence of the news article says, "Hopefully the monkey's okay, but if not, rest in peace, brother."
What's his name again?
I didn't say his name.
Uncle Fatty.
Oh yes, Uncle Fatty, of course. I didn't know if he had like. I mean, that's a.
I
didn't know if he
say
had
his
like an.
name.
I didn't know if he had like an official government name.
He's Sergeant Fatty to you. He's Dan Fatty to you.
Well, they did say he might have died from old age because Uncle Fatty has already lived beyond the average age.
Oh, and he's fat as shit.
He also looked exhausted and didn't want to eat much, so he
Oh
wasn't
no,
being
that's
himself.
so unlike Uncle Fatty though.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to turn it around.
But that's like monkey. I mean, that's what animals do. They try to like separate themselves when they're dying. You know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah, it says they told me that when monkeys know that they are very weak, they will isolate themselves and won't let any other monkeys or anyone see them dying.
Oh my god, that's so sad.
God, I need you to see a photo of this thing so bad.
Is he super fucking uncle and fatty?
Oh, he's the biggest uncle. There's a picture of him just chugging a half-gallon of cranberry juice.
of heavy whipping cream.
Hold on, I'm gonna do like what we used to do when we sat across the table from each other. I'm gonna take a picture on my phone, and I'm gonna hold it up to the camera.
Holy fuck! Oh my god! No, David, that's what the fuck? That's like 2 monkeys. He swallowed another monkey.
That's what I'm saying. They said he was twice the weight of a normal monkey.
Holy shit! That stomach. He's like the guy with the giant ball sack who like sits on his balls. You ever seen that guy? That's like another Indian guy who's like in India.
Elephantitis.
He just sits on his balls like a beanbag chair. Like that's what that monkey looks like with his belly.
Yeah. Oh.
Between that and Swinging Arm Man, I think we could get a really good team. I smell Expendables 4.
All I'm saying is
We'll keep Stallone and then just add those 2.
after reading this, I'm turning my life around. I'm gonna start going to church because if anybody is in heaven, it's Uncle Fatty, and I want to meet this monkey. So
for sure.
I'm turning a new leaf. Gonna
And
make my way to the pearly gates.
Do you know what they got in heaven?
Uncle Fatty,
Besides that, they got a
cranberry juice.
all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet.
Oh, that's my first stop for changing my life around.
All right, well, I think you guys are caught up on all the news you may have missed, so let's just get into these stories that we have. Now, David, last week we had a discussion on this pod about how you... I fucked this up. I'm already a sentence in. How did I do this?
It happens to you, man.
Fuck me. Like I said, last week we had a discussion on this pod about how myself, you, and our entire friend group are eventually going to be deployed to Vietnam to fight in a scenario where we get drafted.
Yeah.
And
It's like an escape room, but for reals.
And that I would be the first one to die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this narrative. Now, although I have already stated that I am a no good pig stealing draft dodger who will be shadow boxing with Muhammad Ali in prison, I would also like to say that I think you would be the first one dead as you stomp loudly with your heavy club foot and your lumpy Agent Orange head is displayed above the bushes for all the enemies to see, while I stroll comfortably and sneakily through the tiny hollowed out fallen trees.
You forgot to add in my stinky leg. They would smell that coming. They'd hear the trash bag rustling.
I remember you. They're like, there's a dead fat monkey nearby or a stinky leg wrapped in a trash bag. But like we all know, war is hell. And you are so eager to join, I would like to tell you 2 stories of past wars that are not only terrifying, but almost unbelievable. So let's get into the story of the blind Bulgars and the buried alive Germans. Crack.
I thought that was a good time.
Yeah. So, the blind soldiers. The blind Bulgars. So between the years of 976 and 1018 AD, a state of war existed between Bulgarian and the Byzantine Empire led by Basil II, who was nicknamed the Bulgar Slayer. I feel like I really missed out on the era of really, really good nicknames. David, you look confused over there.
Oh, I was looking at my wavelengths. Ignore my face.
Okay. But I feel like I missed out on like the era of really good like I almost said wavelengths. Fuck. Nicknames.
No
You know what
good
I mean?
sounds
Like-
have come out in the last 40 years.
Like I really think it's cool. It's like, like Bill the Butcher or like the Bulgar Slayer or like
Oh yeah.
I don't know what my nickname would be.
Tobin
Probably-
the Tiny.
But
No? You don't like that one?
I did walk into that one. At least I didn't walk in with a smelly leg and a club foot.
Did I tell you I was born with a club foot, or are you just like making jokes?
You were. Oh my god! You were born with a club foot?
I don't know. My mom said that once, like a year ago.
To hurt you?
I don't know. I don't know what the goal was. It really rattled my brain. Because I didn't. You can't really fix that, can you?
I don't know. I'm pigeon-toed.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
like-
I think she misspoke. I think I had something else going on with my fucking feet, but
I think a club foot is like something that maybe people grow out of. They said like pigeon-toed you grow out of, but I didn't. I never really grew out of it. I still have.
because
it
you
a
never
little bit.
grew.
Oh, fuck you, clubfoot. You know I was born with a lazy eye? Did you know that?
Yeah, you still have it.
I did. I was born with these big muscles, too. Doctor said biggest penis on a baby he's ever seen, too. It's crazy.
Proportionally, maybe.
That never grew. So it's big on a baby, small on a human. Man. So like I said, David the Club foot.
Yep.
Doesn't rhyme that well.
No.
So, one of the most famous battles, the Battle of Kleidion, took place on July 29th, 1014, between the Bulgarian Empire and the Byzantine Empire. It was the culmination of nearly half-century struggle between the Bulgarian Emperor Samuel and the Byzantine Emperor Basil II. Ooh,
Yo,
named
Samuel, man, your name's fucked. You're getting rocked.
Dude, the other guy's name is Basil II.
Yeah,
Or
that's
is it Basil?
sick. Could be Basil.
It's spelled like Basil, though.
That's better than Samuel.
I guess. It's more unique, for sure. So the result was a decisive Byzantine victory after 15,000 Bulgarian soldiers were ambushed in a valley and trapped, leaving them with no other choice but to surrender, and they were swiftly taken prisoner, or if they didn't surrender, they would just die right then and there. So they are like, let's weigh out our options. Sure, they'll probably like trade us back for gold or something like that. You don't really think anything bad's gonna happen. If you're like one guy and you get caught by the enemy, you're like, fuck, this might be really bad. Like they might kill me or torture me or something like that. But if there's 15,000 of you, you're like, let's just all surrender. Like, maybe they'll kill the general and then trade us back or take our land, whatever. It's at least I'll live. But Basil divided the Bulgarian prisoners into groups of 100 men, and after he had his group separated, he tasked his men with the chore of taking out the eyes of 99 of the men in each group to leave one man in each with just one eye so that he could lead the others back home. David, this is a true story.
It's going to be a lot of dull spoons.
What is that? I think they went with the pokey things, David. They weren't.
They did a
weren't
poke,
like,
not a scoop?
open wide. I'm gonna melon ball you, Basil.
They didn't melon ball?
They didn't melon ball him. I think they
Oh.
did the old getting the olive out of the jar with the knife. You just
Yeah.
poke it and hope it sticks, and then you pull it.
I usually just bash the jar open and pick them up off the ground.
I wear them on my fingers like a spooky olive goblin.
Oopsie, I spilt the olives again.
Guess I got to Zamboni it off the floor. Oop, chunk of glass went down my throat. Oop, that's going to cause a little poopy blood. So, like I said, he lined up 100 dudes, 99 of them took out both of their eyes, and then the last guy, he took out one of their eyes. Fucking crazy. So,
That's a lot of eyes.
This was done in retaliation for the death of this guy named Botaniatis.
Okay.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Who was stabbed by the Bulgarian general during battle, and unluckily for the Bulgarians, though, Boltiantius was Basil's favorite general and advisor. So that's why some believe that he did this. He was retaliating for that. Some believe that this was done to completely obliterate the morale of the Bulgarians and another to fuck up the morale of them. And another possible reason was that in Byzantine eyes, the Bulgarians were rebels against the authority, and blinding was the usual punishment merited out to the rebels. So that was just kind of like how they dealt with people who were rebels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if my calculations are correct, the blinded men walked 68 days back to their kingdom in total darkness, except for, the one-eyed guy in each group of 100. This said, led by one-eyed men, and eventually when they returned, the Bulgarian Emperor Samuel was delighted to see his men coming in from the distance in large numbers because he thought, oh shit, they won, they obliterated them. Like, look, there's like no casualties. They're coming back in strong numbers. But when they got closer and he saw what they had become, Samuel apparently died of a heart attack on the spot.
Oh shit.
Which is like kind of fair because I think that is probably the most disturbing thing you could ever see. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of people thought it was for morale, like to decimate their morale. A lot of people thought it was like a traditional thing they did to rebels. But some guy on Reddit that I was reading, he wrote this, and I was like, damn, this is actually like the best strategical move for this army. Because he said, the reason behind this is not mere cruelty. Imagine 15,000 soldiers coming home that you need to feed and take care of now that are virtually worthless for your defenses. It's a cold, calculated strategy. And I was like, damn, that totally
makes sense.
is. Yeah. Right?
Totally. Because, I mean, now it's just like, instead of just killing all of them, it's like, oh, you can have them back. You have to feed all these people.
Yeah, they're just going to sit in rocking chairs all day and whittle something.
Who's going to make 18,000 rocking chairs? That's the real question.
15,000 minus, I gotta do math, like 150?
Yeah.
They all have one eye.
The one-eyed guy can't sit in a rocking chair now?
They have to be
what
archers.
What bullshit is this?
They gotta be archers because archers only use one eye, right? They close one eye when they're aiming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They gotta, see, look on the bright side. You got 150 archers. Wow. Very cool. But yeah, I mean, that is like and then I was reading some guy who was talking about a book, and he made it so dramatic and scary. He was like, imagine the last things they saw before he plucked their eyes out. Imagine walking 68 days back in total darkness, holding on to your brother in front of you. I was like, dude, this is like so fucked up. Like, one-eyed guy is just like, his job is so much harder than the rest of the 99. Like, 99 have it fucked. But, like, that one guy is, like, he turns around and, like, John's, like, halfway out in a field walking in the wrong direction, holding onto the back of a cow. And you're like, oh, no, I got to go get John. Like, nobody move in the line. It's like.
Someone's going to move.
Yeah, it's like the preschoolers when you see them holding onto the rings walking from, like, class to class or something like that. That's what I kind of pictured. But, honestly, a really terrifying story that was actually true. And, I'm just glad they got the Geneva. What do they got?
Geneva Convention?
Yeah, that makes it so you can't do war crimes, right? Something like that?
Yeah, they all met at Geneva and had a convention.
My favorite's Furry Con.
Yeah, I know it is.
That's your favorite, huh, Dave?
No, I like BlizzCon because you get furries there, too.
Ooh, they got Blizzard Flurries?
Blizzard Flurries.
Fuck you. So, on to my next story.
Yeah, right.
So, this one is trapped in a bunker. So, in 1951, in the small Polish village of Baby Dali, about 30 kilometers from Gdynia, some workers were still removing the rubble left by World War II. Among fragments and ruins, their scrapers met huge reinforced concrete slabs. They had obviously come across an underground military structure, similar to many others found in the area. So they're just digging up all this rubble and stuff 6 years after the war.
There's a lot of fucking damage to pick up.
Yeah, it's weird. You never really think about like how much like shit like actually got destroyed over there, and like how
So
long
much.
how long it took to rebuild. So they raised one of the walls as they were like uncovering something, and they uncovered an entrance of a bunker for food storage, abandoned by the Nazis 6 years before. So this is 6 years after World War II ended.
Okay.
And during their they ended up abandoning it when they were retreating from Poland.
Yeah.
But to the surprise of the onlookers, two men emerged from underground, blinded by the light, with beards touching their bellies.
Ooh.
They were obviously in a daze. When the
Wait, hold on.
sunlight-
Wait. So where? Can you say again where the beards touched?
Their bellies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can. You go ahead. You can keep going. Just wanted to clarify that.
So when the sunlight reached his eyes, one of them dropped stone dead. The other man instead received first aid, and once he had regained consciousness, he told a terrifying story. So the man, I tried to find his name. By the way, this story is 100% true
Okay.
because I found it in old newspapers, like German newspapers, American newspapers, the Time
Mad Magazine.
No, Mad Magazine.
No.
Time Magazine wrote about it, and I was just like, "Oh shit!" But like, I guess they probably redacted the guy's name because he was obviously like also a Nazi soldier. So
Did
probably
USA
was, like-
Today write about it? Oh, that's right. You wouldn't know, and I wouldn't either.
I'll just flip him a nickel and be like, "Tell me the guy's name." His name's Beard Belly. So he was a German 32-year-old soldier in 1945, and he was in the food depot with 5 mates when their own troops blew up the entrance with dynamite. So apparently they were down there supposedly looting stuff at the time, and like I said, the Nazis were retreating from Poland, so I think they were just like grabbing food or like gear. I don't know how the grenade went off or whatever they blew it up with. but they ended
Dynamite.
up- Oh yeah, we just said that. Fuck, you're right. Shit. So I don't know why he blew it up with dynamite, but he did.
Why
And
not?
because of this right here.
Okay.
The 6 men were therefore trapped between the reinforced concrete walls of the bunker without tools to try and dig and escape. Despite their bad luck, they could at least rely on the air that entered through a ventilation fan, unbelievably left undamaged by the explosion. So the fan was still blowing like air in, so they weren't like gonna run out of oxygen or anything like that. But like, I mean, at this point, maybe they were kind of wishing they would. See, on the other hand, the food packed under there was enough to guarantee their survival for many years. Good thing they got stuck in like a food storage, right?
Yeah. Anywhere else, they'd be eating each other and the rats.
But that's the thing too, where like I assume that they probably had guns or some kind of weapons on them. So it's like, I don't like. Well, we're about to find
What,
out.
they could
Like,
go hunting for deer.
no, I just mean like put themselves out of their misery because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know if like what these guys went through is worth surviving. And
Yeah.
like it is, but it's like God, I like can't imagine the shit like I'm about to tell you. So it would guarantee their survival for many years, waiting for someone to come and set them free. But it was increasingly unlikely that they could be tracked down. A world war had just been lost, and most likely their names had been deleted as missing in action, just 6 more casualties in a conflict that had caused millions. So the 6 men used to drink the rainwater that filtered through the cracks in the walls and dripped from the ceiling. Sometimes they happened to wash themselves using a bottle of Rhine wine taken from the pantry. So they didn't have water down there, so the only way that they would get water was, like I said, to drink it as it like filtered through the cracks, and like the fan filtered through the cracks and then drip from the ceiling. Yeah, so they were drinking basically like ceiling water, and to bathe in,
I
they were
love
using
a good crack water.
to bathe, they're using, I don't know what Rhine wine is.
Isn't I think that's for like cooking.
Oh, is it?
Sorry, yeah, I think it's for cooking.
Is it good to bathe in Rhine wine, or is it better just to stay dirty?
Probably
mean,
the wine. I don't fucking know, man. It's it's
I know
sterile.
that. Well, I know that like, interestingly enough, that like apple cider vinegar, which is like not wine by any means, but it's like an antifungal and stuff like that. So like, I wonder if like these guys just were using it as a way to smell not so bad. Like they had fungus on them. I mean, they were like literally in a damp basement, so I wouldn't be surprised if they got a little fungus on them or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, a few months after they had been imprisoned underground, two of them could no longer bear the situation and ended up killing themselves. Like I said, I think they had some form of weapon. The others had no choice. Like I said, okay, now you have two dead guys in a bunker with you.
Oh, that makes it way worse. Decomposing body, just sitting there. Now you got to. Now you have to eat them.
Exactly.
If you don't eat them, well,
You gotta use more Rhine wine on them.
you think my leg smells bad.
That guy has my leg disease.
All over his body.
So no, but like honestly, like that is a shitty situation you don't think of, because in reality you're not going to eat these guys because you have enough food to survive for X amount of, like, once you eat somebody, there's not really coming back from that.
Yeah, there's no going back from that at all.
That's a last ditch effort. So basically, these guys are like, we don't know what to do with these bodies. There's no way to get rid of them. We're stuck in here, and it's gonna start stinking so bad, and probably create like illness and shit like that too. You know what I mean? So what do, David?
They mash them up and put them in the jars.
You flush them down the toilet. Oh, I didn't even think about the toilet situation. I don't want to think about that.
They become the toilet.
So the others had no choice but to put the corpses in two big sacks of flour.
Okay.
They fucking...
I mean, they're not baking anything anytime soon.
I guess you're right, because you can't just eat straight flour.
Do they have like an oven? Like, are
No.
Is it so? It's not like a kitchen / like pantry.
No, it was just like a bunker full of like probably cans and dried goods. So they're probably eating like crunchy uncooked rice. But like, you can't just eat flour. You have to heat treat flour in order to eat it, because I mean, I don't even know what flour was back then, but Katie made edible cookie dough, and you have to use flour, and you have to heat treat it. So you had to like put it in the oven and like bake it first, just like the flour on like a pan.
Yeah.
So like you didn't get some kind of illness, sickness, but flour back then might have been like more natural, so I don't really know what heat treating kills or whatnot, but I don't think you could just eat flour. I think you might get sick.
Now, could it have been a bag full of flowers?
Like petunias?
Daisies? Have your pick. Fine,
Man,
sir.
that's how I want to die. If I die, put me in a sack of flowers.
I'd help with the smell of the death.
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, as they say.
Bag full of posies with a corpse.
So after some time, two other soldiers fell ill and died of unknown causes. There were only two survivors left, cut off from the world, buried with 4 corpses, and the prospect of ending their existence in that terrible prison. I cannot imagine 4 people dying and then just 2 guys just sitting there being like,
oh, wait,
what
hold
do we
on.
do?
I
What?
zoned out for a second. How did the other 2 die? The
They
two guys.
said that they just died of unknown causes. They fell ill and died of unknown causes. But like, it's not really that surprising that like being trapped in a bunker underground for X amount of days that they just got some kind of sickness or illness or something like that.
Yeah.
I always think about that. Like back in the day, I'd be like, I would be dead already. Like I had a fucked up tooth one time, and I had to get a root canal. I'd be like, yeah, I'm dead. That would go straight to my head and kill me.
Yeah, my appendix blew up. It done blew up on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, it exploded while it was still inside?
It partially bursted.
Oh shit! So you'd be dead. We'd just be dead.
We'd just be dead.
We'd be some flour sack boys.
Let me hear my
Hey, David,
flour sack
scoot over. I want to
boys.
crawl in this flour sack with you. Ooh, it's nice and it's like I got talcum powder all over my giblets.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I feel like if I couldn't shower, I'd throw some powder on me. I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah, have you guys ever seen Chef, the greatest movie ever made with Jon Favreau?
You always
They
talk
put-
about this, and no, I haven't.
They put
Eva
put
Longoria,
They put no. What's the one from Modern
Selma
Family?
Hayek,
Modern Family. When they talk like
Sophia.
Vergara.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's in it. But they put cornstarch on their balls in a scene because it's real hot and sticky. But I digress.
well, now I need to see this movie.
So John Leguizamo was great in it too. So days went by one after the other until in 1949 they ran out of candles. If you weren't scared enough, guess what, bitches? They just ran out of candles.
I wonder
They
how many
should-
candles they had.
So I mean, but I think that was like part of like the food storage kit type thing. You know what I mean? Where like they probably were like, oh, we got a crate full of candles too, right?
They should have been saving them.
Like I know, right? But like what they should have done is taken their little buddies out of the flour sacks and started molding them their little fatty love handles up into some Shrek earwax candles.
Love that idea. Love that
So-
mental image.
So, like Tyler Durden just like making soap and stuff, you know, a little Fight Club reference for you. So, everlasting darkness came, of course, without the use of candles, and they could no longer perceive the passing of time. You can easily understand that in a situation like this, even the strongest mind is likely to waver or get definitely lost in madness. So, 2 long years went by. Life on the surface had started again. A destroyed country needed to be rebuilt. But in their underground cave, the two men had stopped talking. Maybe sometimes breaking the silence, one of them blathered something just to make sure that the other was still alive. Maybe every now and then they heard sounds, the vibrations of a lorry passing by. Maybe they tried to scream, but in vain. Their voices, as their lives, were sealed between the bunker walls. I just can't imagine how fucking scary that is.
Yeah. Being able to like hear people having the time of their lives up top.
I mean, everything was still destroyed. I don't know how.
It was wonderful, okay?
They're like, and I had the time of my, and like all these like Nazis with like swastikas carved in their forehead from Brad Pitt. just
Yeah, Brad
dancing
Pitt was
around.
there.
He was there. You've seen the movie. So liberation came at last, as already mentioned, after 6 years underground.
Holy shit.
I believe 2 of those years were in complete darkness, but the heart of one of the 2 survivors was unable to withstand the shock, and that's
Oh
just
my
like
god, that would suck so much to go through all that fucking shit and die
know.
immediately once it's over.
heart attack.
Sounds like a Saw movie.
I know. So, and the other soldier whose name hasn't been passed down, but that showed impressive determination to survive, came back up to life. So one of them fainted. The other one had a heart attack, but the one who fainted got up and was able to, survive and tell his story.
Jesus.
And the Polish workers couldn't believe his story at first, but as they descended into the bunker, they found 4 big jute sacks with the corpses of just as many German soldiers, almost perfectly mummified by the underground dry air.
Oh, they were German? They were Nazis?
I told you they were Nazis.
Oh, well, now I'm glad this happened.
I mean, that's the hard thing where you're like, yeah, like they were Nazis, but like I kind of don't like wish that on like even my worst enemy, but like they kind of are like the worst enemy in history, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
So you're like, ooh, I don't know, but like obviously you still feel bad. I don't know what they did. Maybe they deserved it. Maybe they all just like killed people horribly, but like
Yeah.
they could have also been the Nazis who were like, oh, like we'll just join, I guess. We just like kind of open cans for other Nazis, and they were
I'm gonna look this way, and you guys run the fuck out of here.
they were like the snack brigade. They were like, go get me some peaches, Hans. And
They're
he's
just
like,
stoned
"Okay."
as fuck the entire time, raiding
Yeah.
the snack kitchen.
The guy's like, look at this weird sausage with the wick sticking out of it. They're like, don't like that, boom. That's how it happened. They were high as fuck.
Yeah.
So I like to end this with, so next time you think you're so tough in your little made up scenario, maybe maybe remember that while walking home eyeless for 68 days, or when you dredge your dead guys in a nice flour mixture after taking a wine bath, I'll be learning how to make toilet wine with Muhammad Ali, and we'll be creating the most amazing boxing manager combo as we rope-a-dope our way into the history books. Well, you don't like that scenario?
No,
that
I
me and
love
Ali are
it.
in prison?
I love that you and Muhammad Ali are in prison and forming a new fighting team.
Yeah, I'm like the fat manager of The Undertaker.
Oh my God, we were just talking about this the other day. How we never brought him up before.
Yeah, I'm like running around with like an urn and like screaming at people, and I'm like pale and fat, and like Muhammad Ali's just like doing all the work, and like I'm just like trying to take credit for it. It's really good. So
I'm looking up his name real quick. Paul Bearer.
Yeah. Oh my God, his name's Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's great. I love that.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think what I loved about Paul Bear was he was always running around screaming. He's got the crazy face. He's got the mustache. He's a little guy. But something that I really loved about him was when he was running around screaming. He never had a mic, so like you could kind of hear him screaming through the TV, but not like really. So it's like he's screaming for just literally only the first like 4 rows of the people at the wrestling match.
Oh,
is that not just really funny to think about? Is that like you can like barely hear him screaming, but he's still screaming as hard as he can with that urn.
It's a very intimate experience for everyone in the front row, and everyone on TV is like, "Oh, that guy's kind of normal," and then they're like, "No, Paul Bearer is fucking terrifying." I saw him pull a dead guy out of a sack of flour.
And we can get a Paul Bearer Halloween mask on eBay for $44.81. Spice up the bedroom.
Not even 50% off right now? Come on, Spirit Halloween's even doing 50% off.
It might be 50% off.
You're right. It's usually 80.
Oh, well, here's the mask on HalloweenCostumes.com for $49.99. So that is off. That is a discount.
Anyway, well, that's my story of this crazy thing we called war, and I just found both those stories completely terrifying and absolutely bone-chilling, as
lovely.
They like to say.
Love 'em.
Yeah, that's it.
Love them. All right, Tobin. Today I want to talk about a topic I know you are all about, and that's college football.
I love college football. Go long.
Horns?
Go, hook 'em.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.
Now, I know I've done a few sports stories here and there, so this shouldn't catch you off guard. But there was a certain team that has always been a bizarre and strange roster flooded with crime and violence and perfection. And that team would be the 2006 to 2009 University of Florida Gators. Let me hear you chomp.
Oh, chomp, 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 chomp.
Chomp, chomp. Now, the Florida Gators have been known in the past of being an absolute powerhouse of college football, and this certain era was being coached by Urban Meyer, who is one of the
his name?
Yeah, Urban Meyer, who is one of the greatest football coaches probably of all time. Statistically, he's always been very successful, and there's an old code of coaching, which is to carry yourself as a leader, one that the student athlete you mentor could follow and develop into an outstanding man in their society. Now, we will get into some of the crazy shit his players got into, but let's talk about the darker sides of Urban Meyer.
He don't have a dark side. He's a college football coach. Name one other college football coach that had a dark past.
All of them.
like, okay, great example. Penn State. Penn State has never had anything bad happen there.
No, they're just great.
Clean.
What are the Nittany Lions?
What does that mean?
Mm.
I'm not even that big of a football guy. I don't know much about nothing.
So, news broke that one of Urban's assistant coaches was a pathetic and disgusting serial domestic abuser.
Oh.
Yet,
I was going to laugh until you said that.
yeah, some of this stuff gets dark. Yet, instead of changing something and removing this individual from his staff, he did basically nothing at all. So the first time Zach Smith, the assistant coach, allegedly physically abused his wife was June 21st, 2009, when his wife, who was 8 to 10 weeks pregnant, yeah. So on June 20th, late at night, so yeah, this is like one of those things that's like in the midnight hour, so it's kind of like June 20th or June 21st, who knows. Late at night, Smith went out to the bars with some coaches to celebrate their second national championship, where he returned around 3 a.m. with a female coworker who was the head coach, Urban Meyer's secretary, and the Smith was begging his wife to let her stay the night, quote unquote. Whatever that angle he was coming out with.
Wait, so his wife was home and he was like,
and like 10 weeks pregnant.
come on, why can't she stay the night? Why are you being weird?
Yeah.
She was nervous to go home in an Uber with Peter. Peter's being weird in the Uber.
Well, I guess
Our
she did just get out of she just did have a bad breakup or something weird like that. So I don't know.
Oh no.
I mean, a guy that beats his pregnant wife, you can only assume what things go through his head. So Smith's wife rejected the idea and gave the woman a ride home. When his wife returned home, Smith was furious and struck his pregnant wife.
No.
Now, there is a detailed description on how he beat her, but I'm not going to read that. If that's something that you're really interested in, you can go and Google it. But it is a side note that this event would have occurred on their 1-year wedding anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
this
God.
guy sucks.
Dude. Oh my God. He's like, "Hey, can this random woman stay the night on our wedding anniversary?" And she's like, "No, it's bad enough you already didn't remember the anniversary." He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm going to make it way worse." What the fuck?
So after all this, Smith was arrested for the altercation and decided to leave Florida, but returned to coach with Coach Myers 3 years later.
Oh, when everybody just forgets about it.
Yeah.
Why was he gone again? Something about he got promoted somewhere else? I don't know.
So
was he on did he go to Utah for a retreat? Was he on a mission? Right? Is that what people do? They go on missions for 3 years and they can't watch TVs.
They can't watch TV?
Can't listen to secular music, no TV.
Well, I know there's no caffeine.
Yeah, that too. Hey, you gonna drink all that
fuck
Dr.
me
Pepper?
up.
Who's gonna drink all that Dr. Pepper?
What if Mr. Pepper's a Mormon, huh? Really makes you think.
No doctor can do that.
So Smith won't be the only member of the team to be arrested, and it's not even fucking close. This was one of those stories when I was like writing it, and it just kept going. I was like, holy fucking shit.
I hope these players do something a little bit more wackier and funnier than domestic violence.
Oh, they do.
Okay, good, because you started off with a real dark one.
Yeah. So freshman Solomon Patton was charged with a misdemeanor of possession of alcohol by a person under 21. Not that bad. I'm sure plenty of people listening have met the same fate or come close to it. It's college. Not a big deal, but it's, still running into the law. Another freshman named Matt Elam would face the same charge. And then we have Frankie Hammond Jr. charged with a DUI in June after speeding, swerving, and driving with multiple bottles, of Crown Royal inside of his vehicle.
Multiple bottles of Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Ooh, but they come in that fancy purple bag. I see why he got.
He's a king, baby.
I see why he got multiple. He's like, I just bought them for the bags to hold all my marbles. I walk into class with all my marbles, and everybody always makes fun of me. And they go, "There goes Marble John Hammond Jr." Is that his name?
Frankie, but close enough. It could have been John Franklin Hammond Jr. I don't fucking know.
Franklin Hamlon. Marble Jr. Big Bag Crown Royal Purple Marble Bag Jr. Carl's Jr. Burger Whopper Jr.
So DUI is not something to joke
But a
about.
dog.
But a dog. But the butt on the dog. Dog on the butt. But yeah, so DUI is not something to joke about. It's an extremely dangerous crime, and thankfully no one was hurt. But, a DUI isn't quite wild enough to pass this podcast standards. So we will talk about Chris Rainey, who was arrested on a charge of aggravated stalking, which is a felony.
No. Wait. What makes it aggravated? You're mad?
Just really angrily pacing behind someone for too long.
I'm following you.
I'm going to follow you if you like it or not. That might be aggravated. I don't know.
You might be.
So, yeah, that one's a little spicier, but, also not cool to do. And then there's Gary Brown, who was charged with a misdemeanor in battery after allegedly slapping a woman and scratching another one at an apartment party. Gary be scratching. Again,
man.
domestic, that's not cool.
All these guys on like the juice, you think?
Oh yeah.
Or just like big old pieces of shit. I think it's probably a combination of
absolutely
them just being big old pieces of shit originally, and then probably injecting something right into their butt or something. Them roids.
I know. I for the record, I do not find a man striking a woman funny, but I do kind of thought it was a little funny that it said he slapped one but then scratched another. I thought it was funny that they went into detail to say that he scratched one.
It is weird when they write that in the police report. I wonder if like that actually differentiates like in the crimes and stuff like that, because like if you punch somebody or slap somebody or like, you know what I mean? They're, like, I guess it's all.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to prison regardless. So
rightfully
you're
so,
fucked, dude. Sorry, you suck.
So then we had Carlos Dunlap. Police found Dunlap asleep behind the wheel at a traffic light. He was charged with a second-degree misdemeanor of a DUI. Coach Meyer did not suspend him for a single game.
That's Florida.
Yeah, go Gators. Marquise Hanna, felony burglary of an occupied dwelling, unarmed, which is just some weird jargon, but basically, yeah, he burglarized what I'm assuming is like a college apartment, but he was unarmed. It clarifies that it was not armed burglary.
Many times, I'm not even kidding, I've walked home from my college parties and was walking in my apartment complex, and there were like doors open with no lights on, and it's so weird. They were like my neighbors, and I'm like, hello, and I would like knock on the door because I was gonna like tell them like, hey, your door's open, and literally like laptops on the couch.
Oh yeah,
like goods everywhere, and I was like, dude, like somebody just came home drunk, left the door open, and walked to their bed and passed out.
Yeah,
and I just like closed their door. I'm like, they didn't even know their door was open.
Yeah,
some guy walked into my fucking apartment one time.
Yeah,
I was sleeping.
I had some friends once call me in the morning and they say, hey man, like, can you help us? Like, because I lived next to him. And I'm like, what's up? I'm like, we need to help you move a guy. And I was like, what do you, and I get there and there was just some dude passed out on their couch that none of them knew. And they couldn't like lift him. So I helped them like lift him out. And then he like finally kind of like woke up and like, he was super, like, apologetic, like, super hungover, and I guess, like, his friends used to live in that place, and they didn't lock the door, so, like, in the middle of the night, he just, like, was like, oh, that's my friend's house, and, like, went in and, like, fell asleep on their couch.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Like, I think the guy lived a floor below us, and he was like, and he, like, walked into our room, and I'm like, and me and my roommate were like, what the fuck? And we're like, what? And he's like, what are you doing in my bed? And we're like, dude, this is our apartment. And he's wearing like pink shorts and like just like a total college frat star, and he's and we're like, what the hell? And he's like, oh shit, I don't think this is my apartment. I was like, no, it's not. And like our other asshole roommate just left we didn't like him. He just left the door unlocked, and we're like, dude, you gotta lock the fucking door.
I hope he's a listener.
No, he got killed by that guy.
Oh, good.
He's like, I'm gonna kill you, Marty. His name is Marty.
Okay.
Oh, I really hope he doesn't listen to this.
Hey, Marty, fuck you.
Sorry, Marty.
So, this man that he had the felony burglary. In the previous year, he got a misdemeanor of burglary when he forced his way into an apartment by punching a man in the face. Now, that's how I like to trick or treat.
Ooh, I want some Mr. Wilson chiclet teeth in my bag. I'm gonna sock you bopper. I'm gonna sock and bopper your teeth right out of your fucking head.
So now it takes us to Carl Johnson, misdemeanor violation of a sexual restraining order after getting on the same bus as his ex-girlfriend. That sucks, but also like maybe don't get the restraining order.
Or get a car.
Yeah, it's so easy to do as a college student. The woman had previously filed a petition claiming Johnson date raped her on 3 occasions. Huge piece of shit. But the charges were dropped due to a lack of evidence, and Urban Meyer never punished him due to lack of evidence, and he never missed a game.
Well, you could definitely tell this is mid-2000s. When was this?
Somewhere between like 2006 to 2009, I believe.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. So, Riley Cooper, misdemeanor of resisting an officer and failure to comply with a police officer or fire department. Cooper was cited for purposely standing in the way of an active police vehicle.
That's illegal?
Yeah, you can't just block a cop car if they're trying to go somewhere.
They're allowed to block me.
I know, right?
Just because I have a kilo of heroin in my car, you're allowed to block me? I have to get to Jack in the Box.
So Cooper was not punished. It should also be said, though, that in 2013, now a professional football player in the NFL, Riley Cooper was caught on tape yelling racial slurs at a Kenny Chesney concert.
Wait.
Yeah, he played for that all-white NFL team. You know that one.
Wait, what team did he play for? Patriots?
Ooh, he's played for a few. I think he's still playing maybe for the Falcons?
Wait, you're telling me that he was the only one caught on tape yelling racial slurs at a Kenny Chesney concert?
No, but he was the only one that was a professional athlete, so he's held at a different standard.
The other guy worked out AutoZone because they couldn't fucking really do much about that. There's like, no, we don't know where that guy went.
Oh, well, according to Wikipedia, he played for 5 years, and his last year was 2005. But for some reason, I thought he was still playing. Doesn't matter. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he sucks.
So now we're going to move on to a very, very big name here. Cam Newton.
Whoa, we know him.
Yeah. Felony counts of burglary, larceny, and obstruction of justice after allegedly stealing a laptop from a University of Florida student and throwing it out his dorm window when the police showed up. Now, if you don't know Cam Newton, he's a huge name. He's a huge name in the football world. He was a huge prospect, so once his name popped up, it was made into a much bigger deal than if like a walk-on player did it. So Urban was forced to suspend Newton for the rest of the season. Then he transferred to a junior college and then transferred his way to Auburn, where he won a national championship with the help of a terrible referee missed call, cheating the University of Oregon out of their first national championship. I'm still bitter.
That's kind of crazy that he got booted from the school for that, or I don't know if it was for that, but he switched to a junior college and then Auburn, and now he's like one of the biggest quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, he kind of sucks now, but Cam won awards like NFL MVP, Rookie of the Year, the Heisman Trophy, and 3-time Pro Bowler. He's currently with the Patriots. I was actually watching Monday Night Football while writing this, where he led a huge comeback to beat the New York Jets, who are 0-8, I believe.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say somebody sucks in the NFL. They could just literally have like a bad year too.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, you don't make it to the NFL if you suck.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, everybody in
least-
the NFL is good to an extent. They might be overshadowed by other people, but you know, it's a team sport. You can be the best player in the world and play on a shitty team and not perform.
That's true.
So back to crimes. Jaquez Rickerson got caught with weed. Whatever. But wait.
Ooh, weed's tight.
Yeah, it is. But wait, he also got charged with a felony of domestic violence by strangulation and a felony of obstruction of justice.
Oh, no.
Rickerson would be suspended for the 2007 season for the marijuana, but played in the game the same morning that his felony domestic violence case became public. So that's lovely.
I mean, it's a felony too, right? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know if like all domestic violence cases are felony, but like if
I'm not sure.
But like he must have done something really, really bad.
Don't worry, though. He
Jesus.
played the same day.
Ugh.
Good job, coach. So Torrey Davis, misdemeanor for knowingly driving with a suspended license on a number of occasions.
That's fine.
Jamar Hornsby charged with number one, cited with a misdemeanor of property damage and criminal mischief for allegedly throwing a man onto the hood of a car during a fight.
Wait, that's illegal? Not the fight? Just throwing him on the hood of the car?
Well, it's property damage.
Oh, it wasn't his hood.
Yeah, no, it wasn't his car.
Ah,
I'd be pissed too if I came out and there's a big ass dent in the fucking hood of my car. It turns out
big
some
ass
dude
dude on my car.
he's still there. He's drive to work with him there.
There's a big ass knocked out dude on my car.
What do I gotta feed him now? What is this?
Oh, you took out his eyes? What am I supposed to do with them now? I don't, you can't do nothing with them. You can't get the ball? I don't fucking know what to do with them.
So, charge number 2, unauthorized use of a credit card to obtain goods and services, a felony, along with
What?
a misdemeanor of larceny of a credit card for allegedly more than 70 fraudulent charges on the credit card of a female University of Florida student who had died 7 months earlier.
Dude,
Holy
shut
shit.
the fuck up.
That is insane.
Shut the fuck up.
So this poor girl died 7 months ago, and he stole her credit card and spent a shit ton of money.
Who's this?
That would be a one Jamar Hornsby.
Fuck that guy.
So Hornsby
Specifically.
Yeah, Hornsby was not punished for the act of yeeting a grown man onto the hood of a car, but thankfully stealing a credit card from a dead woman and spending a shit ton of money was bad enough to get him kicked off the team.
Yeah, I mean, just like obviously, fuck all these dudes who are like just doing this horrible shit, especially like the domestic violence stuff. But like, especially like this guy, it's just
That's
like
worse.
it's just like really disrespectful to like somebody who passed away. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
damn, way to take advantage of a situation.
I can't think of many things that are worse than that, honestly.
I mean, like, obviously, like, physical violence against somebody is, like, worse in theory, but just, like, the idea of doing something so slimy like that is,
Yeah.
like, the credit card thing is just,
Awful.
like, it's so slimy. You go, like, oh, my God. Like, that wasn't the heat of the moment. I'm not going to even get to justify, like, these other guys. Fuck all of them. Fuck them.
But I understand
Except for the
what you're
guy
trying to say, like-
driving with the suspended license. That guy,
Well, yeah,
that's fine.
just,
He
he
gets
or
a
like getting
pass.
busted with weed, it's like, come
Yeah,
on.
that's fine.
So, Jermaine Cunningham, misdemeanor in battery for getting in a fight with a Jimmy John's employee.
No. Okay, now that motherfucker
You're
is
not
on
making
my
it fast
list.
enough. I thought you said it's freaky fast, motherfucker.
You could fuck with anybody, but you fuck with my Jimmy Johns, you're gonna get these Jimmy hands. My name's not Jimmy. It doesn't make sense.
So Cunningham played in Florida's next game, the Capital One Bowl, but Coach Meyer said
The Jimmy John's Bowl.
the coach said that he imposed physical punishment on his player and that he couldn't accept bowl game gifts. Holy shit! What does the physical punishment mean?
Did he spank his players? And then he said, "You don't get to eat the Tostitos." Wait, what was the bowl?
It was the Capital One. You don't get a credit card. You don't get to go into debt.
And then his buddy's like, yo, I got a credit card. Check this out. Some girl died 7 months ago. And he's like, oh, I don't want to use that one.
Don't make a joke about that, Tobin.
I'm not making a joke about it. I'm
That was
trying
a
to make
joke.
light of this. Dude, you brought this to the podcast. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this. A lot of this information is very heartbreaking and horrible, David.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know I talked about a story about people getting their eyes plucked out, but like this is more real because those people are ancient, and I feel like they would eventually have got their eyes plucked out if it wasn't by the Byzantine Empire or by somebody.
True, yeah. They're probably laughing about it now. They're like, hey, they're talking about us again.
Yeah, in hell.
Yeah. a good old just belly laugh down in the old HE double hockey sticks. So our next guy here, Tony Joyner, felony theft for breaking into a car impound and retrieving his girlfriend's car, which had been towed. I feel like I've done that on Grand Theft Auto a few times.
That's a good boyfriend, though.
Yeah, he never missed a game.
He's like my girlfriend. She got her car towed, and she's like, I don't have any money. And he's like, I'll go jump the fence and go get the car.
I mean, realistically, they charge way too much when your car gets towed.
I totally agree. I have many stories about that. My friend's car got stolen, and he tried to go retrieve from the pound, and the guy's like, we close in 5 minutes, and you don't have the exact ID that we need, so we're going to keep it for another day and charge you like another $175. And I was like,
Yeah.
And he's like, this is like a scam. And they're like, yeah, we're shutting right now. Like,
Yeah, we are a scam.
They wanted to shut it down, so like he would have to pay the money.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go get it right now. Will you stay open? And they're like, nope.
That happened to me once when I was trying to do camera returns, and I got to the place at like 6:58, and they closed at 7, and I went to the front door, and the person locked the door in front of me, like a glass door. I'm like looking at him. They're like, sorry, man, like we're closed, and I literally just had to drop the bag to them, and so then our producer got charged for an extra day rental fee.
No.
Oh, I was so mad. I had to make someone else return it the next day because like I was going to like lose my shit.
You were
going
to beat up the Jimmy Johnson employee.
I was.
I get it.
Yeah. I was going to
fucking put him in a ham sandwich.
I was going to wipe my ass with the lens. You clean that, bitch. I'm going to put this microphone in my ass. Can you hear me?
I started pinching my nipples with the clothespins. That's a production with the C-47s. I put my wiener through the barn door. These are all production jokes.
Yeah, you guys don't get it unless
we're in the business.
I was
in the industry. Oh God.
So
we suck.
Ronnie Wilson, aggravated assault, battery, and use of display of a concealed weapon during commission of a felony for shooting a semi-automatic AK-47 in the air after a dispute with another man.
Honestly, though,
it's pretty cool.
Really cool. Jonah Hill did that in War Dogs.
So, like, he's basically Jonah Hill, but he plays college football.
He's Jonah Hill. I think Jonah Hill plays football.
Yeah, he does.
Professionally.
He's a fullback for the Atlanta Falcons.
At least War Dogs Jonah Hill could play football. Just roll him down the hill. He'd just be like the fucking crater in Indiana. I mean, the big boulder in Indiana Jones.
So
he was thick.
I wonder if this is a classic news report of misidentifying a rifle as an AK-47, because that was like a big thing before like ARs swept the nation. Because now every time you hear like a news broadcast about a rifle of any type, they're like, it was an AR-15. But so I'm not sure if it was actually an AK-47, but I want to believe it was, because that'd be
a Kalashnikov.
Cool. Oh yeah. Oh
Never
yeah.
shot a gun.
You should. So charge number 2, misdemeanor of possession of marijuana.
Boo.
Hey, Tobin,
Yeah.
I got a little secret for you.
What?
No one else can hear this.
What?
Every single fucking college football player smokes a shit ton of weed.
And Olympic gold medalists.
Coaches only use drug tests to kick kids off the team for weed if they don't want them on the team and don't have another reason to kick them off the team.
Yeah, they're like, my nephew is going to be the new quarterback. He's got one arm. At least we'll get a lot of press.
We know we ain't going to win any more fucking games, so we might as well go with the one-arm kid.
He's ugly, too, so people are going to be like, who is that guy with the one arm and the messed up face? I'd be like, that's my nephew. And
So
he's gonna be
back
like, makes sense.
back to Ronnie Wilson real quick. Charge number 3, 1 count of battery and 1 count of assault for an altercation at an apartment complex. Yeah, so this guy had a lot of problems. Ronnie Wilson was suspended for the season after his gun stunt and then kicked off the team after his 3rd charge.
Charged up.
Yeah, he is. Dustin Doe, misdemeanor, affray and resisting arrest for his role in a fight. Charges dropped. By the way, the majority of these charges are dropped, which means the university probably paid a lot of people, paid off a lot of black eyes. Here's a free semester for our guy kicking the shit out of you.
Oh, maybe, actually.
Yeah. And charge number 2, charged with unknowingly driving with a suspended license. Doe was not suspended for his first crime, but was for a short time after his second. Okay, so he was suspended a little bit after his second thing, but he did return to play 13 more games the next season. Dorian Monroe, felony theft when he removed a university police boot from his car tire and threw that bitch in his trunk. Charges were dropped and no punishment was given out.
That's cool how he got that off.
I mean, that's a felony theft charge that got thrown
What if
out.
he just left it on the ground?
I think still tampering with like a car boot is a felony, regardless. I don't know if the felony has to do with him like stealing it or not, but
You put it on my car.
he put it on the cop car.
That's my car. That's my wheel. What if I just change the wheel?
Yeah, I've seen people just like try to like take the bolts off and just leave it.
But doesn't it cover the bolt so you can't even take the wheel off?
You can just put it back on.
What
what
are
I
you
do.
talking about? Never mind.
I mean, if you can get the thing off, then you take your wheel off and you put it back on. You leave it on the street.
Now that he's got a wheel. Trade you a wheel for a felony.
That's a fair trade.
Fair trade.
So John Curtis.
How many more people fucking
That's what I'm
broke the
telling you,
law?
man. This is insane how many people on this fucking team broke the goddamn law. John Curtis, a violation of probation after failing to serve only 5 freaking hours of community service for an alcohol citation. Like, holy shit, it's 5 hours. That is so easy to do.
That's all he needed?
You said to do 5 hours. He was never punished for it, by the way.
They never are.
Yeah. Brandon James busted for buying weed on a felony level and obviously busted for possession of marijuana. James was suspended for 1 game for his felony drug charge.
Felony.
Avery Atkins, misdemeanor in domestic battery by hitting the mother of his child. He was kicked off the team and then found dead a year later from a drug overdose.
Oh, no. Weed?
Yeah, I don't know. And I got to the point where there was just like 10 more of these fucking things, but they're mostly just like marijuana and assault cases, and we've already done those. So now it's time to talk about the big one. You know who the you know who the big one is, right?
No.
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was a part of this team. So, yeah.
Nope.
No, you're not going to spoil it? Okay.
Continue.
There's an incredible documentary about Aaron Hernandez that you guys should check out, because I'm not going to tell his whole story, but it's an incredibly interesting story because they cover him from like his birth to his death. Aaron Hernandez was a tight end for the Florida Gators who continued his path of success all the way to catching a touchdown pass from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Most children's dreams in the United States and probably all over the world.
But if you're a child and that's your dream, you gotta give him a kiss on the lips.
Yeah, that's
Tom Brady, I'm saying.
Only if you're his son. So Aaron seemed to be living the dream, but what many people did not realize at the time was the pain he had inside of him and the monster he kept deep within. Now, for me, the most insane aspect of this downfall of Aaron Hernandez has to be how fast it all happened. So we'll start this on April 23rd, 2010, when Hernandez was drafted by the New England Patriots in the 4th round of the NFL draft. Hernandez had a successful rookie year, scoring 6 touchdowns from Tom Brady. And his second season of the Patriots, he continued to contribute to the team, helping them reach Super Bowl 46 on February 5th, 2012, where they'd lose to the New York Giants. So we're in February, and 5 months after the Super Bowl, on July 16th, 2012, two men named Daniel De Abreu and Safrino Furtado were shot dead in their car during a drive-by shooting in Boston's South End neighborhood.
So he was on the team when this happened?
We'll come back to that. 1 month later after that shooting, August 27th, 2012, Hernandez signs a 5-year, $40 million contract extension with the Patriots.
Whoa.
A month later. 5 months after that, Aaron Hernandez's friend Alexander Bradley is shot in the face after partying with Hernandez at a Miami strip club. Surviving, Bradley later files a lawsuit alleging Hernandez was the shooter. 4 months after that, June 17th, 2013, the body of Odin Lloyd is found near Hernandez's mansion in North Attleboro, Massachusetts. And and I said that right if we have any new listeners. It is massive two shits. So Odin Lloyd was dating the sister of Aaron's fiance at the time. And the police trace evidence back to Aaron after he destroyed his cell phone and surveillance footage from his home on that night.
No, innocent people do that shit too. I sometimes just destroy my cameras and my phone.
Yeah, I do it every Sunday. Every Sunday, I just smash them.
I don't trust my own technology.
Never.
The VCR has been watching me.
That blinking light, that's a camera.
I have a VCR.
So on June 26, 2013, Hernandez was led from his home in handcuffs and charged with first-degree murder and 5 firearm violations. On May 15, 2014, Hernandez is indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder and other charges in connection with the 2012 drive-by shooting of De Abreu and Furtado, who I was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't say that he killed him, but he did. April 15th, 2015, Hernandez is found guilty of first-degree murder. April 19th, 2017, Hernandez is found hanging in his prison cell by a bedsheet pronounced dead.
Jeez.
September 21st, 2017, it is revealed that Hernandez had been suffering from chronic traumatic, I don't know how to say that word, CTE. Which is a degenerative brain disease caused by repetitive head trauma and has become a major storyline in the NFL with an alarming amount of current and alum suffering from this disease, which causes mood swings and cognitive confusion.
Interesting.
So this story is just crazy to me because he goes from playing in the Super Bowl to being involved in a shooting claiming two men's lives to signing a massive $40 million contract a month later to shooting 2 more people. his whole story his whole story is well covered in the documentary I was talking about, which is on Netflix called called Killer Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez. And it's absolutely worth watching, even if you're not like very interested in football. My fiance hates Sundays because I just want to sit there and drink beer and watch football. But she found the documentary like really, really interesting. It's just a really crazy story. So even if you're not into football, definitely check it out, especially if you're into like murder stuff and true crime. So I want to end this story with the craziest college football team ever with one more piece of the puzzle. Now, Tobin, who is the most important person on a football team after the coach? Who is the true leader of the team?
Mascot.
No.
Quarterback.
That's right, the quarterback. Do you know who the quarterback was for all of these lost young men?
No.
Tim fucking Tebow.
No way.
America's virgin sweetheart, the rebirth of Christ.
Whoa.
If you don't know who Tim Tebow is, he's like an insanely vocal and devout man of God, just like the perfect human being in everybody's eyes.
He did the Tebow knee. That was like a big meme for a while,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Before
People
memes were
getting
a
on
thing.
knee. Yeah, people getting on a knee doing that thing.
I
He'd
mean,
always run the
yeah.
ball, right?
He wasn't very good at throwing it.
Well, I just remember he'd get touchdowns himself a lot of the time, and that's when he would take the knee, right? And that's why it became like a thing.
I mean, the dude was
Totally.
built like a fucking fullback. I mean, he had all that man juice building up in his bottom half that he just filled with testosterone.
Now what is he doing? What is he up to?
I believe he's doing announcing,
Okay.
which I think he's halfway decent. He's a very charming young fellow. Great to look at. Oh my God, he's just something else.
But you can't touch him.
You can't touch him. Only God can
Right.
touch him. But my God.
Whoa, very interesting juxtaposition. You know?
Yeah, when you look at all of those fucking guys that just oh man, do horrible things, and they're being led by Tim Tebow.
And Tim kept his head above the water.
I guess so. So now, of course, you can't try to pin the actions of others, especially these young men who are going through, a transitional period of their lives into the men they will become. But what if you could? What if all this time hiding behind his gold-tipped page Bible, the Tim Tebow we all know and love was just disguise?
Whoa.
We just might not ever know the truth.
He's the Antichrist, and he besmirches people who are around him. He taints them, right?
Hey, you're the one saying it, not me. I'm not saying that.
It's an interesting theory, Like
Yeah.
maybe he transfers all of his negative thoughts into those people, so like he's able to stay pure and clear. But
Yeah, he's like, God, I just want to shoot an AK-47 after beating some people up. Here, you take this one for me, buddy.
Oh, like you don't.
He passes the magic off with the football.
Exactly. You get it.
Yeah. Science. It's science.
Well, science. It's just science.
I've seen
sports
Space
medicine.
Jam. I've
It's
seen
sports
Space Jam. I see how magic travels through athletic balls.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you've seen Space Jam. Little
Anyway, I
dunks,
think that-
half-court dunks.
I think that-
You don't think Michael Jordan had the devil in him when he dunked that ball from half court?
That's the devil. Only
That's
the devil can levitate
That's
like
like,
that.
if I've ever seen the devil, it's Michael Jackson dunking a ball from half court. His goddamn arm
It's
went
Michael
100
Jackson
feet.
dunking the ball? Is that what you just said? It's Michael Jackson?
Well, everybody knows he was Michael Jordan's stunt double in that film.
They looked a lot alike, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. Oh
Hey,
my
they
God.
did that McDonald's commercial together. I'm not lying.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. Devil probably put that one together.
Oh yeah.
There's the third devil. That's the trifecta. McDonald's, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson.
It just checks out. That's just what it is.
It is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Anyway, well, I think that wraps up our stories for today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love telling you these stories, and we love it when you listen. So if you guys want any more information, you can go to Camp Strange Podcast on Instagram and click our link in bio to check out all of our merch things. Wherever you want to listen to our podcast, you can find us on Apple iTunes, Jesus Christ, Spotify, all the big ones. We got merch. I already said that. Rate, review, subscribe, said that too. Send us an email at campstrangepodcast@gmail.com, and we will respond as well. And I think that wraps it up for today. David, do you have anything else to say before we head out?
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
There we go.
Devil.
And don't forget to stay strange.